Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent, horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We got Two Dudes and a Mic live here on Sunday morning, October 27th.
Yep. Things are getting spookier.
Yeah, almost Halloween.
Yeah.
It's supposed to rain all week, but
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. It's a good ambiance for Halloween.
nah,
stuff.
this fall and this spring have been awful with the rain, and I'm just tired of it. Got work to do outside, can't get it done.
Right.
Yard's all soggy. Dog comes in tracking shit in the house.
A few more days of Shipyard Pumpkin, and then my lungs will start to feel better again.
How you feeling, dude?
I don't know. I've been sick all week, and let's just say the Pumpkinhead beer didn't
Help.
alleviate the sickness.
Dude, whenever you have that much Pumpkinhead beer, it's always going to be a bad idea. We we were out for that show meeting there.
Hey, his prime.
You the one that we went out to talk about the show and such, and Mike had me, dude. You had to had you can't really, dude, really. Just sit down.
I had a
What are you
good
doing?
10. I had a good 10 of them, and some of them were the first 3 or 4 were like 24 ounces. So it wasn't good.
No, those are 32 ounces.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, that's why I said you drank a lot of beer, dude, because you drank, well, technically 2 of those, right? But
3.
3 of
Give me a
those.
third.
I know,
And
that's
a
what I'm
fourth.
saying. You weren't supposed to get a third, but
I
you
drank
did.
quite a bit that night. Not a ton.
You
but
did.
quite a bit.
You did.
But yeah, we got all 3 sports to talk. This is a great time for sports. World Series, baseball at its peak, NBA just getting underway. First few games of the season, and almost NFL trade deadline here. So a few more trades and a few more trade rumors as we approach the deadline here. But let's talk a little bit about the World Series. As last time we were on the show, a World Series game hadn't been played yet, and here we are now. World Series tied 2-2. Not exactly what we expected.
It's been a pretty good series. I mean,
Yeah.
these teams can't win a home game, so it's got to change
Yeah.
here soon. It looks like to me the Astros are back in the driver's seat here with the pitching matchups again. Even though it's Scherzer tonight and then Strasburg, you got to like Cole and you got to like Verlander set up to probably win.
And the strange thing about this series is the ace pitchers haven't been the ace. I mean, they've been getting smacked around, and the pitchers later in the rotation seem to be the ones that are coming up more solid, especially in the last 2 games. The first 2 games, Scherzer and Strasburg pitched fairly decent games, but Verlander and Garrett Cole really didn't.
Yeah, you're not seeing the like 7 innings of shutout pitching. You know, you're getting 5 innings, 2 runs, 3 runs, like adequate starts. But the guys that came up big were the guy last night. I don't know how to say his name, Urquidy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he pitched a really big game for them to get them back in the driver's seat. So,
Yeah, tonight Cole versus Scherzer. So
ooh.
you don't get much better than that in the series.
Yeah, that's another rematch of Game 1 matchup.
Yep.
And obviously Scherzer got the best of that matchup with the Nationals taking Game 1.
Nationals have to win tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Game 6 and 7 on the road, down
Yeah.
3-2, losing 3 home. Nats have to win tonight.
Yeah, this is strange that the Nationals came into Houston and took the first 2. Then Houston went into Washington and took the next 2. And it's, especially in baseball, it seems like when the home team advantage really helps. And especially when you have pitchers like the Nationals do for their first 2. So, stealing those first 2 games, maybe not as much as a surprise, but doing it on the road was the thing that really kicked it up
I've
a
never
notch.
felt that in baseball, home field advantage is that big of a deal as it is in football or basketball.
Yeah, I think it becomes a big deal in the postseason where these pitchers are pitching more than they're used to and on shorter rest because they're always trying to get the best guy up.
when it comes to pitchers, and especially in the postseason, I don't think home or away. It all depends on the temperature and how they can feel the ball when they're releasing it.
I think for me, the only aspect of home field that's important as far as baseball is getting that last at bat. When it's a close game late, pitching matchups, you have a little bit of an advantage in what you're going to do to get that last opportunity to win the game. But I agree. I think it's bigger in the NFL and probably the biggest in the NBA.
Yeah, in the NBA especially. I agree with you, Mike, on that. Let's recap these games here for those of you that may not be completely paying attention to the World Series now that the NBA's underway in the middle. Yeah, well, we didn't expect you to. The middle of NFL season. But honestly, this NFL season, and we were just discussing this a minute before the show started off the air, has really not been that exciting this year. There's a lot of bad teams, and there's a lot of bad quarterbacks. Well, we talked about the officiating last week, absolutely, but that usually contributes to the season being exciting because now there's more news and worthy topics to discuss. But it hasn't really been the case this year.
And like I said before the show, about a third of teams are playing with their backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's huge. Yeah, because this is a quarterback. I mean, NFL is a quarterback-driven league, and there's a reason why all these rules are implemented to protect their quarterbacks because they want them on the field because it brings ratings and makes the games exciting. And we're going to get into the NFL and marquee quarterback who's going to make his return from injury today. But I wanted to check in here with the World Series stats and go over some of these games that we missed while we were away. Game one, obviously, Scherzer versus Cole matchup. Scherzer goes 5 innings, gives up 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 bases on balls, and strikes out 7. So, I mean, solid effort from him. It seems now, though, that these pitchers aren't making it to the 6th and 7th inning as much as they used to, right? They're and I think that's more strategy than anything, right? Because if you give up 5 hits through 5 innings, it's not that bad.
It's not. And then you're looking at the box score, and you have Patrick Corbin, who started last night's game, is one of your quality starters, comes in to pitch in it the next inning, the 6th inning of that game.
Yeah.
You would think Scherzer would go 7 innings there.
Yeah. He probably could have. I mean, 7 strikeouts in 5 innings, that's solid. I mean, he gave up 2 earned runs. I mean, you're playing against one of the best offensive teams in baseball here, the Houston Astros. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that really is a good outing. And Scherzer looked good. He had good command of his pitches, and he was putting a lot of balls low and away in the strike zone. I watched that game. And
they need him to go 7 tonight.
Yeah.
Because their bullpen is bad.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a situation where the Nationals have now dropped 2 straight. The Astros have been here before. They know what it's going to take to win. And this is the game, like you said, that the Nationals need to come away with. So you may see them overextend their guy maybe because this is probably going to be the last time he pitches in the series anyhow, unless there's a game 7 and you need to throw him
an inning
in
or one batter in the 7th game.
But on the Stros side of game 1, the Stros have really had the same few players kind of stepping up for them, especially with the bats. It's been Springer and Brantley, obviously Altuve with the game winner in the ALCS to move on to the World Series. But Garrett Cole, decent performance, not a great performance. Gave up a lot of earned runs, but he did get through 7. 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 6 strikeouts. This is the opposite situation what we just discussed. Maybe they stuck with him a little bit too long, right? The 7th inning. And anyway, the Nationals end up walking away with that game 5-4. Nationals take game 2, and as we know, Astros took the last 2. So game 5, is that tonight?
Yep.
Yes.
Tonight. Cole against Scherzer again. So
you would expect to see a good performance out of Garrett Cole coming off of a bad performance for him. I don't see the Nationals winning the series right now. I want them to, but I don't see it.
When they took the first 2 in Houston, I was like, wow, the Nationals are going to walk away with this in 5 games.
Yeah, you would figure they would at least split.
win a game at home. You're
I'm
up.
like 5-6 games. The Nationals are going to win this, and now here we are back to 2-2. So I mean,
If they get a good performance out of Scherzer and they win tonight, and then now we have
yeah.
you stabilize. They have a chance to win. But if
Whenever you're a team that isn't familiar with the territory that like the Nationals are here in their first appearance as the Nationals,
Yep.
You have to kind of lean towards Houston when you know that Houston could have been there last year when the Sox made it, right? Because the Red Sox had struggled with them in the ALCS.
Yep.
And obviously we know that Houston beat the Dodgers the year before to win the World Series. So this is a team that's could have been to 3 straight World Series and maybe should have. They might have been the better team over the Red Sox that year. But the Red Sox ended up pulling it out, obviously. Whenever you have that experience, you've got to, and a series is now knotted up, you got to kind of lean towards the team that has been there and done it before. And we'll see tonight. But tonight is a huge game. Whether whoever wins that game, more than likely probably going to win the series.
especially if it's the Astros,
Yeah.
because then they go home at 6 and 7. They do have Verlander.
Yep. Verlander didn't pitch well in Game 2, though. He really didn't.
Yeah.
I
expect those kind of guys to bounce back, though.
Yeah, of course. They don't have many bad games in a row. That's the thing. We were discussing off air here, but today we will only be on until probably about 10 past 12, just like last year around this time. And thank God for that. It's my Meme's 107th birthday, so we're going to
that's
be
amazing.
that.
That's amazing. Happy birthday. Wow.
Yeah. And it's this is kind of horrible to say, but we do this every year, like at her birthday party. Like the family gets together and we talk, and we're like, this is probably going to be her last birthday.
No.
And we've said that for 7 years in a row, literally, and here we are.
we need her to we need to get her as a guest to share those secrets. Because I mean, for me, that'd be another 67 years. I don't know. That's not going to happen.
That's insane.
Oh my God.
Insane.
Dude, I don't know if I got another year. I'm gonna be honest.
A year.
So I mean,
Yeah.
so
She's absolutely going to outlive you. That's
that's
for sure.
that's a big facts.
Just start throwing a similar party for Angel. You made it again.
I absolutely got worse
She
knees
made
than
it to
Meme.
30.
I got worse knees than Meme for sure. That's
Well, that's your own fault.
guaranteed.
That's your own doing.
All right.
But aside from the World Series, we have the NBA kicking off, and already a lot of talk regarding the Celtics Kemba Kyrie thing, because Kemba comes out in his debut as a Celtic and scores 12 points, doesn't look too good, and Kyrie drops 50. But they're
Not
both
impressive.
they're both in a loss, and that's the thing that really grinds my gears, kind of, about the people and the fans that overreact to one game, right?
Yeah.
Kyrie scores 50 points in his debut as a net. Impressive, right? 50 points in your debut.
Yeah.
And your team still lost. And that was the situation here in Boston all the time with him, right? Every game he would score a lot of points, the team would lose. Every time. And it's irrelevant if you're scoring 50, 60, 70 points a game, but your team's not winning.
Yeah, I don't want to like continue to harp on this point, but I've said it like every time we talk NBA that your point guard shouldn't be your best player. If your point guard scored 50, chances are you're probably going to lose, because that means other plays weren't created amongst the floor to do things like shift momentum. Where he drove on a play, he could have maybe kicked it out to the wing, got a 3 there. Whole crowd's on their feet. Now things kind of shift a little bit. Like,
I agree with this point in terms of you can't just look at that number. Here's what he scored. What type of shots did he take? What was his field goal percentage? What kind of plays did he pass up? I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah,
I mean, in all honesty, I think Kyrie's going to have a monster year statistically.
yeah, I think
He
I think he absolutely has a monster year statistically, and I think the Nets don't do anything as a team.
I think they'll be average. But
yeah, exactly.
But let's see how it plays out next season, because what you're saying is the point guard not being the best player. Next season, he's got Kevin Durant.
Exactly.
But you have a guy coming back off of a major injury too.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
how does this work? That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want the guy who should lead your team in passes to lead your team in points and shot attempts. You just don't. It's just not good. It's like in the NFL when we see these QBs take the ball and just try to run with it before trying to look for a passing lane. It's just that's what you're doing, and teams like that tend to lose.
I mean,
I want to say, and I don't know this for a fact, I want to say the only time in the history of the NBA that a player led the league in scoring and assists in the same season was Tiny Archibald. But I'm not sure if that's true or not.
Tiny Archibald.
But I feel like it is.
assist and
I
scoring.
feel like he led the league in scoring and assists in the same season.
Am I not seeing it here? Where
Like
does it
some
say
season
his-
in 70s.
Where does it say his points for this game? Oh, right there, 50. Okay, why is it all the way to the right? That's awful.
And he hit the game winner against the Knicks.
Yes.
He hit the game-winning shot against
Yeah.
them.
So
But it's like, the Knicks.
Yeah,
you know?
so
I know, but it's a game-winning
No,
shot.
yeah,
You have
yeah,
the pressure
yeah,
on you
yeah.
to make that shot to win for your
I mean,
team.
he-
and it's like in front of a rookie too.
he actually had a really good field goal percentage, shot 50%, but he took 33 shots. So I mean, that's why you're scoring 50 points. I mean, shooting 50% from the floor is obviously awesome, but when you're shooting the ball 33 times a game, I mean, it's not going to be a recipe for success when you're a point guard or you're a small guy. Your job's to get the ball around, and comparing him to Kemba, really, it's just after one game. One game.
You know my take already.
Yeah.
Long term, let things play out. Don't overreact.
Yeah.
Kemba had a good game last night.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know what he did Friday. And
He had 12 points. I don't know on how many shots.
The
or
Raptor
whatever.
game?
No, the opening night.
Opening night. All
Yeah.
right. All right.
I'm not sure about the Raptor game. Opening night, who'd they play?
They played Philadelphia.
Philly, yeah, they lost to Philly opening night. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at the, like you said, the points. Like, he took 33 shots, even though his percentage was good. But I had that one example about like kicking it out to the wing. But most of Kyrie's shots, I'd say, aren't in foul territory, right? They're in a place where he's probably not going to get fouled. He's going to be taking a jump shot.
They're
He's behind
they're
the line.
extensions of the foul line or beyond. Yeah.
Okay, so another asset of the game you're taking away, which is warfare on the other team, which helps get wins, is fouls. When you're seeing cuts to the lane and you're not dishing it, you're taking away your player's chance to get a foul, finish with the foul, go to the line, maybe get one of their guys to foul. Like, there's things that go into it.
Well, yeah,
when
we
you're just banging, and you're not being the general like you're supposed to be. It doesn't help
Yeah.
your team win at all.
Well, that was the issue that we saw with him in Boston. Was we had guys that generally played as scorers prior to Kyrie showing up, like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and these guys really were confused on their role now when Kyrie came, because he commanded the ball so much and took so many shots, and they're kind of standing there like, well, what do we do now?
Mhm.
We don't really know how to play this way, and they obviously took a step back with him there, and it's going to be interesting to see how they perform with Kemba, because Kemba is more of a guy to dish the ball around.
They already look like a better team. Like, they're going to be, like you say, distributing the ball a little bit more and playing a little bit looser. So
Yeah.
Kemba had 32 last night on 11 of 17 shooting,
Okay.
and then he had 22 on Friday night with a bit of a poor percentage, 8 for 22.
Mhm.
But we didn't see that game.
And you can say that the Celtics will be a better team without Kyrie, at the same time acknowledging that Kyrie is a better player than Kemba Walker.
Kyrie's a better player than everyone on the Celtics. Sure.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And that's the thing that people don't really understand, is they assume that if you think they'll be a better team without Kyrie, you think Kemba is better than Kyrie. And nobody thinks
I think
that.
they'll be a better team because of the word team.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think they would have been a better team if they didn't replace him with another all-star type player.
Exactly.
No. So you're getting 85 cents on the dollar, but that's enough because of the other stuff you're getting with Kemba.
What you had from Kyrie in that 50-point game is, that's fine. That's, you want him to do that in a best of 7 series in the playoffs once or twice, where your team didn't show up, you have to put it on your back because you're the best player,
Right.
and get a win that way. In the regular season, over the course of 80 something games, you can't. That formula will not work to get you to the playoffs as the point guard. It won't.
Yeah, it's with the Celtics situation as addition by subtraction.
Yep.
You get rid of a guy who's a premier talent in the league. There's no doubt about it. But he was bringing the team down based on the team dynamics, based on his attitude, based on his approach to the game every night.
And if I'm correct, he acknowledged this when he's gotten to Brooklyn,
Did he?
that he had some personal stuff going on. He didn't handle it properly in Boston. So let's at least throw that out there. Which is
see, I don't give him a pass for that though, because he said the same thing about Cleveland, right? After he left Cleveland, he was adamant he wanted to leave Cleveland, and he wanted his own shot, and he got it. And then he did the same thing in Boston with his attitude. And now he goes over to Brooklyn, and what are we? Less than a year removed of Kyrie's speech before the Boston game, saying that he wants to hang another banner in the rafters, and he wants his number to be retired as a Celtic. And here he is giving an opening day speech on Brooklyn, saying merely the same shit in different words, and then pretending to get emotional, which was a complete joke.
What it is it's a guy. I mean, he's obviously got his own issues in terms of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's ego related, but he's got his own issues mentally that cause him to do these things. So what happened? What I'm seeing is a guy who, when things are going well, the fresh start happens and things are going well. He's
exactly.
like, he's all about that. For lack of a better word, that sober life. Like, yeah, I'm good. I got it now. We're good. I've made the change.
What you're saying is like the honeymoon phase of dating somebody.
Yeah.
That's what Kyrie does. He's serial honeymoon data.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait till January, February.
Yeah, he's a when it's good guy, and when it's bad, I want to leave.
Yeah,
I feel like he might be okay here though. He's at home. He's got his boy Kevin Durant with him.
Yep.
There's a couple of things that are in his favor here, but it could, but I wouldn't be surprised if it went off the rails either.
Even I think he is the person I describe him as, regardless if he implodes on Brooklyn or not. He's still more comfortable on Brooklyn, I'm sure, than he was in the Celtics.
Well, who's he carrying on Brooklyn? Right,
the entire team.
Well, right, he's not in a really better situation right now this season.
Yeah, and no, he's not. But I think he's okay with that. But I think Kyrie is the guy that's okay with being on a team that's not as good, so he can be the guy. He's that guy that needs to be the guy.
And then has a potential Hall of Famer coming back next year, where over here in Boston, you have these two young kids that are looking to ascend and take their game to another level.
And especially what happened when Kyrie was out of the playoffs and those young kids played very well. And the Celtics went on that run.
Yeah.
And now we can do this.
It's a shot at his ego. Yeah. Absolutely. And in my opinion, I said this before on this show, if Kyrie can get through this season without Kevin Durant, then I think he'll be fine on Brooklyn. But the problem is, can he get through a season? Because we've seen him ruin a team in a season.
Antonio Brown question.
Can he adjust, though, again next year after he has a year where he's the man in Brooklyn? And then, oh, by the way, you're going to kind of have to defer to Kevin Durant. Yeah. Can he?
Yeah.
If he can, he's a moron, honestly. Because you came here, you did your photo shoots with him. Like, the guy who's 6'11", who your head's up to his groin, like, you were there. You're there with him. You know who he is. You know what he does. You know that he is marketed as possibly the best player on the planet. So if you can't, then you're just you're a mental midget.
But we have
to
see what Kevin Durant's going to be. Let's not act like we're going to be getting Kevin Durant.
100%. 100%. My whole thing is that I'm saying is just that if he comes back and goes, oh, what, I'm supposed to pass it to him now? I can't. You're just dumb. Kyrie.
Yeah,
you're just dumb. You should know what your role is.
And I don't think that's going to be the case with Kyrie and Durant, because supposedly there's like a friendship there, where I don't think that friendship was there with LeBron, and he kind of looked at LeBron like, I'm as good as you. I could be you. You know what I mean? But let's not escape the fact here that Kyrie hasn't, as good as he hasn't overinflated idea of how good he is, right? He thinks he's even better than he actually is.
It's almost like you got to have that to be good, but he goes over that line.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Also in the NBA, we talked last week about Zion and his injury and how it was kind of being kept hush-hush about what was going on with his knee. But shortly after we finished up our show last week, it was reported that he's going to have knee surgery.
Yeah. And
he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks.
So this isn't a worst case meniscus. I'd say it's the step below worst case meniscus.
Is it a meniscus? I didn't.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So best case meniscus is a shave of some kind, where they'll remove access that's causing friction or something like that. It's about 2 weeks. That's what we saw with Michael Gallup. It's pretty common. Then you go to the full-on tears. There's tears that flap in. There's tears that flap out. There are complete removals of tissue in the center of the meniscus, make it look like a donut kind of tears. There's many different ways that it can go. The worst case, I think, is 6 months, but that's really, really, I don't think that happens much with meniscus. And then this is just a step below, 8 weeks. It's probably a repair of some kind. Something, if I had to guess, I'd say something tore and then flapped.
The problem that we see with these knee injuries and meniscus surgeries is even when they're repaired, they seem to kind of linger, and they seem to kind of nag for the entire season. Because I mean, the NBA doesn't get a ton of rest, right? These guys play 2-3 times a week.
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot when you compare it to baseball, for instance, but it's a lot more physically demanding on the body.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely on a per second basis more physically demanding on the body for sure. In game and then in terms of how many games in the week they'll play.
Yeah.
But I will say, regardless of that, basketball players tend to bounce back much, much slower from injuries that you'll see a football player come back in a week from. And I think that just comes to weight training. I think that's more the fact that there's more weight training and more physical fitness in football than in basketball. I mean,
and you generally have more size in the NFL, more beef that kind of helps mask an injury, and there's a lot less short burst cutting and stuff like that.
What you see in the NBA is a lot of guys who, not all of them, because you have the LeBrons and stuff, but you see a lot of guys who like, oh, I became a senior, I hit 210, 6'9". That's me for the rest of my career. I'm 210, 6'9". This is what I am. I am naturally this, and I just play this out. And I run the treadmill to stay in shape, but that's really, you know what I mean? So it's not guys who are building onto themselves a lot of the time in the NBA. I think that's what leads to like the lack of bounce back from certain injuries. But yeah, I mean, the fact that it's physically more demanding in terms of like from a stamina output or fatigue output, yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, I could play one series up and down the court of basketball and want to die, and I could play a quarter of football and be relatively all right. So yeah. I did my thing. You did your thing. Step in, motherfucker.
I was looking here I'm trying to share this to another page. So.
Oh.
Yeah. By the way, the screen looks great.
Yeah.
Looks awesome.
Nice bricks.
Are those real bricks?
No, it's a green screen, bro.
No shit. It's right behind me. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Then why are you asking?
Jesus.
I try to make it look a little different. I don't know. Maybe we'll change it week to week. It's a green screen. You can put whatever you want up there.
Yeah, dude. No, we should put your
football
we should put your
field.
8th grade picture up there.
No, that'd be terrible. I kind of look
man.
like my 8th grade picture right now without this haircut and
facts.
this beard that I got going on.
Your face looks like the moon after a few asteroids hit it back then.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, man. I mean, it stinks seeing Zion go down, and I don't think it's a good way to start your career.
It's not a good way for the NBA to start the season because, I mean, he's... Think of another player that, aside from LeBron James that came into the league that people were like more excited to see, right? Like,
yeah,
in recent memory. I mean, there's the hype for Zion started when he was a sophomore in high school.
I was watching those grainy videos of him playing like AAU ball.
Yeah,
that everyone put up.
Doing the same thing he's doing right now to kids his age.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
he was like 12.
Yeah.
The good thing for the NBA this year is there's more competitive teams.
Yeah, no,
so they don't have to do that as much. Like Zion, we have to see him. But
that's 100% true, and that's one of the reasons that I might actually like come out of hiding from the NBA this year. You know, like give it a little bit more attention because it's like, wow, this teams I want to watch. Like there's parity. Holy moly, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah. Clippers Lakers.
It was good.
Opening night. I mean, I hate that those games are on at 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
I hate it. Like, I understand that we're 3 hours behind the West Coast, but why can't they put those West Coast games on earlier in the day so the entire country can watch them?
Dude,
You ever seen the traffic in Los Angeles? They literally play in front of nobody.
Kawhi
I don't
Leonard-
care. Here, I'll watch it the same.
They play in front of nobody anyway. Don't they leave the game as soon as they start losing?
It's Los Angeles.
That's just what they do.
Dude, Kawhi Leonard is wild.
Oh, Kawhi
The
Leonard.
board man gets paid.
Kawhi Leonard is the best player in the world, without a doubt.
Oh, no question.
Yeah, I think he is. And it's weird because so this is going to sound completely like not make any sense, but he's the best player in the world, but LeBron James is still the best player in the world. You know what I mean? Like I know that doesn't make any sense.
You were right. It didn't make sense.
But it's like
You were right. I agree with you.
No one plays all around basketball like Kawhi, but at the same time, LeBron can kind of just go Super Saiyan if the time came to it and just be like, do you guys forget who I am? Kind of like Jordan on the Wizards being like, I'm just going to drop 50 in this game real quick.
I don't think at this point in LeBron's career he's that guy anymore.
No, he was ranked one of the lowest players in defensive efficiency last year and the year before.
But is that for lack of defense or lack of ability on defense? I think
It's
lack of him
interest in defense.
Lack of
That's what I'm
effort.
saying. That's what I'm saying. If he wanted to chase dudes down and pin them to the backboard, I'm sure he still could.
But that's speaking to the point is he's not that guy anymore. Hence him not being the best player in the world anymore.
Yeah, but I don't think he's lost it. I think he's redirected his focus to other things. I think if you put him in the playoff scenario and he gets angry and they go down, I don't see him not being that guy.
No, he's gonna give you his all when he needs to.
Yeah,
But
he definitely sees me as a guy who delegates what he can do over the course of an 82-game season.
Yeah, on a season-long basis, he can't give you that energy and intensity anymore. The guy's he's my age. He's 34 years old. He's getting to the age where he's gonna start declining.
And he's been to all those finals in a row before last season.
Yeah, so he plays way more games.
So many games.
games. Yeah,
carried so many teams.
He's played another entire season by all the playoff games that he's played. I mean, which people don't really think about, right? The course of a career, when you're playing a whole other season worth of playoff games, that takes a toll on you as well, especially in the playoffs, because we know in the playoffs the NBA really ramps it up, right? The defense and the offense.
Something my boy Emmett never got respect for. Played 15 seasons and went to the playoffs every year. Went relatively deep. There's a lot of extra
every
games.
year. I don't know about that. I don't think he went with Arizona.
No. But I mean,
Most
for the
of them,
Cowboys, I mean, he played 13 seasons on the Cowboys, 2 on the Cardinals. So for 11 seasons on the Cowboys, you go to the playoffs every year.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, and you play 15 seasons. It's wild.
But
And
also
you're
at
running back in the
34,
90s.
Michael Jordan was highest in defensive efficiency in the 97-98 season.
Which just goes to show. I have no belief in me that LeBron's lost it. I think he's again delegating to a different thing now. Michael was a killer in a way that was like, I'm definitely more tired right now at 34, but I don't care. Like he sees the 20-year-old and he's like, I want to make a fool of the 20-year-old.
Yeah,
I want to do that. I want like he just say, like kind of like that story of him and Magic at their first practice for the USA team. Like,
in 92.
like they're taking it easy and he's like, no, we're not. Like it's that, but LeBron that's not LeBron. That's not him. He doesn't have that mentality. Do I still think
that's been a knock on him for a long time?
Do I still think if he chose to be, if he wanted to be, he can put it on anyone in the league defending him? Yes. But he doesn't choose to be.
It's only been one game.
Yeah.
But I said
his second game was great. He had 32 points.
I believe the Clippers are going to win the championship.
Yeah,
without injury stuff. I believe that.
And can we? Well, you guys want to do that? You want to go around and make a prediction
Yeah,
for?
we didn't do it last week.
I'm not comfortable with
but
it.
If Michael Jordan were in the same city with Kawhi Leonard, there's no way he's going to allow that guy to come in and take over the city. I believe not when the teams are relatively even.
Yeah. Dude, Michael would probably call him and be like, meet me at the nearest court for one-on-one. I want the whole city to see me beat you.
Pay-per-view.
Michael was wild.
Let's start with the Eastern Conference.
Michael was kind of like a movie character, someone you would write a script on that doesn't really exist, but he did. But he existed.
We'll put the list up here for AJ, who doesn't know all the teams in the Eastern Conference.
I know all the NBA teams, you ass.
He's like, yeah, the Knicks. Knicks are going to the championship. They got that guy, right? RJ? That guy? What's his name? RJ?
That guy who looks like a wax figure?
If I had to pick from the Eastern Conference, as good as the Raptors looked in their debut, I'm gonna go with the Bucks. I'm gonna go with the Bucks to represent the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals.
I think the East comes down to the Bucks and the Clippers, and I'm gonna
Clippers are in the West.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That was your earlier point.
Yeah, I just said that like an idiot. But no, like Giannis is still the reigning MVP. He's dude, that dude's an animal. He's a freak. He's like if KD had a sack. But KD can shoot and Giannis can't. So I mean,
or if KD had any sort of muscle tone whatsoever.
Yeah.
So Milwaukee.
Out of the East, yes. Milwaukee.
There's an argument for maybe two other teams here, but who do you got, Mike?
I'm going to take the 76ers begrudgingly because I think all these teams have flaws. The 76ers don't have a bench, and if there's any injuries that come up, they're gonna have a hard time.
Well, the 76ers don't have a bench?
They don't.
Yeah, but why would you pick them then?
Because I'm saying that all the teams have a flaw. I just think
think
they're the most powerful team.
I think the
in conference.
76ers
starting
have a big
lineup.
flaw, though.
Most
I think the
They do.
76ers have a big flaw
They-
with shooting. They have no
They-
shooting.
Well, yeah. Well,
They-
hey, listen.
they
The videos
do.
say that Simmons can shoot now, so now he can shoot.
no,
So
it's not.
They do, but the Bucks also lost a couple of key guys that kind of go under the radar.
Nah, dude, the Bucks-
Brogdon,
Middleton.
Bogdanovich.
the Bucks still got Corey Maggette.
Corey
Wow. Darius Miles too.
Hey, basketball.
Ray Allen,
hey,
right?
listen,
Ray
guys.
Allen? Right,
Listen,
that guy
guys.
Ray Allen?
Basketball used to be good, and I liked it.
I don't
when
think
it
the
was.
Celtics and the Raptors are to be dismissed at all.
He's like Ray
I
Allen,
agree
right?
with
That guy
that.
Ray
I
Allen,
know.
he's still in the Bucks.
Listen, don't be mad because
Glenn
you're
Big
surprised
Dog
to do Corey
Robinson.
Maggette. You're surprised.
Oh, did you have his jersey or something?
Fact,
Jesus.
dude. Corey Maggette was a beast.
I have the Bucks over the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Fine. Wow.
Bucks
In the
I think the
Eastern
Celtics can
Conference
get there.
Finals. Bucks over Celtics.
Yeah, the Celtics. The
Celtics can
Celtics.
get there.
The
So
Celtics
you think the
are-
Celtics are going to put the 76ers away in the playoffs?
Yeah, because what you just stated,
Yeah.
they can't shoot, and
They
Embiid will
cannot
probably get
shoot the
hurt.
ball.
Well, the caveat is injury takes everything off the
Embiid
table. I said
will get hurt.
Without
Yes.
injury, without injury.
I-
Injury, absolutely.
You know what? I mean, I think the Celtics are going to be in a better position than they were last year in the playoffs. That's for sure. I think the Celtics have a shot to make a run in the playoffs, but I don't see them getting over the hump. It's gonna be interesting though. Taco Fall yesterday made his debut in the NBA, and I got to give AJ credit here on the NBA talk because he's like that guy's going to be on the roster, and we're like, no, he's not, and he is.
Well, I thought they should keep him on because
That you-
get
it's
him
a-
experience and
it's-
get him in the weight room.
You lose nothing by
Right.
keeping him on. And when you put him, it's just the fact of the matter. When you put him down low and you put him in the paint, he's going to block you.
Yeah,
He's
you-
just going to block you.
You don't lose anything because in the NBA you're only playing 7 guys. So to store him on your bench doesn't really hurt you. You know what I mean?
No, there's
Whereas-
literally 8 dudes on the bench that don't even take their sweats off. There,
yeah.
you
There's,
know what I mean.
there's
So it's-
guys on the bench that don't ever see a minute of the game all season. You know what I mean? So keeping him, storing him there is
But he's going to go down to the developmental team. They've already kind
Yeah.
of said that.
Yeah.
he
Playoff
needs to bulk up a little bit, put on a little bit of muscle mass because he's as big as he is, he still can't get down low.
I don't think
He
that's.
can't
I
do
don't
it.
think that's a muscle thing. I think it's a mental thing. He seems like a soft guy. Not soft. Like I don't mean soft. I mean timid.
Well,
Like a little timid of a guy. He needs to get nasty. He doesn't have to get bigger.
It's a lot harder to get nasty and be strong when you're 7'6".
Nah,
though, you know
but
what I mean?
hey, I'll tell you what. Kevin Garnett
When you're long
weighed
and
about
thin-
130 pounds at 6'11", and no one played with more nasty.
He was strong.
and no one
Yeah.
gave him
KD
nothing.
was
No
strong.
one gave him nothing, dude.
But you saw Taco last night try to post up a defender, and the guy just pushed him right
Hook
off the
shots.
block. He
Hook
pushed him
shots.
right
He was
off
almost
the
at the
block.
foul line by the time he took the hook shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, he does need to bulk up a little bit,
My-
get a little stronger, and his game will improve.
What I want to see from Taco is again defense.
Yeah.
I want to see
Oh,
him.
his defense has
You
been his
can-
best asset.
If you drive, if you're a 1 or a 2 guard and you drive to him, but be prepared to do some put me on ESPN top 10 shit because you will not make that layup unless you do something to trick him
yeah,
on the way in.
and he had a block.
You won't.
He played 2 minutes. He had a block.
It's-
His hands above the rim, standing flat. You won't get it in.
He played less than 2 minutes, I think, and he had a block.
About 2, yeah. He had like 4 points, 6 points.
Yeah,
3 or 4 rebounds.
Just,
and
just his sheer size alone is going to help you down low defensively, even if he can't play defense. Right? Just the fact that he's there helps you defensively.
Yep.
There are so many unathletic, goofy, big dudes in this league who have made careers. I don't see why he can't do it. I don't see why he can't do it. He's bigger than them. He's more physically commanding than they are. They're a little better than him, but they're not that good either.
It's
he-
the
he-
matter of can he get up and down the
He
court?
doesn't seem to have any skill.
No, he
I
doesn't.
hate to say it.
He doesn't.
And they're going to need a year or two. I'm glad they signed him because you can't teach 7'5". But
No, yeah.
get him in the weight room. Get him with skills coaches to work on his game down low, and
And you got to think
you can get something.
he's 7'5". He's a little bit meaty.
Isn't he 7'6"?
Yeah, it might even be 7'6".
He's a little bit meaty.
but they lie about.
And
the
he's not
listings
like
in the
and he's
NBA.
Yeah,
not
of
like
course.
falling apart. That's big at a guy that size because usually you break down, you fall apart. He's not.
Well, he got a concussion from banging his head on a low ceiling, so I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm thinking more his knees, his
Everything's
ankles.
a low
I care
ceiling
more
for
about
him.
that.
Right?
That's what I
not a-
worry about with him.
Less than 10-foot
Coming in.
ceilings.
Nah, man, I'm glad they did this. I'm glad I was right about it. And like you said,
Maybe-
put him in the developmental league for a
we-
year or two.
Maybe
Who
we can
cares?
get Taco on the show.
Oh, we can't get him in your
I
house.
don't have a table that he can sit at, but we could get him on the
We
show.
literally couldn't get Taco through your door.
We'll just have to stand him up and then put the mic on my head.
He'll think it's like the Hobbit house to him, dude.
Speaking of, I know many of you are wondering about our guest that we were supposed to have on this week, Jorgen De Castro. Unfortunately, Jorgen had to cancel with us. He is injured and is going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. So, not feeling into an interview. Obviously, coming off a big UFC debut and now dealing with an injury. So we wish him the best of luck in his recovery, and we'll work to get him back on the show once he is feeling up to it and fully recovered. Mm-hmm. But stay tuned for future episodes. We are going to have other guests on the show. We're going to bring people with some clout onto this show to actually talk sports, people that have done it in the big leagues. So keep an eye out for that. That's going to come in the upcoming weeks.
Early bird gets the clout. That's
Okay.
us. We're the early birds. We're getting all the clout.
Oh, okay.
Western Conference picks.
Yeah, Western Conference. Then we'll talk Jaylen Brown's contract. So Western Conference for me is got to be the Clippers. It's got to be.
Yeah, which is what I was trying to say before when my brain farted. But yes, the Clippers for me too. But what I didn't get to was barring injury.
That's a given. That's a given. That's a disclaimer.
Yeah, but
in
I
NBA.
think that disclaimer comes more into effect for the Lakers. If anyone is interested in picking the Lakers, because they have a player in Anthony Brown. Jesus, I'm thinking Cowboys right now. In AD, who is constantly injured. And he's already been injured this preseason with the thumb, right?
Well, he's
The
carrying
MRI
extra
on
weight
the
on that
thumb.
eyebrow, dude. Cut that thing off. Lose 10 pounds.
So that's a disclaimer huge for the Lakers. And if AD goes down, they're in the same boat they were in last year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, Paul George has an injury history to him, and he's hurt right now, I believe.
does he? I'm not even sure.
Paul George is out. Paul George didn't play in that game when he still beat the. That's what I'm saying about
I believe he had a procedure done.
matching up those teams. The Lakers are no sisters of the poor. For LeBron to say we lose to the Clippers in his own opening night,
Yeah,
they didn't have Paul George.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah.
But when you have Paul George, you have two of the best defenders in the NBA on the same team on the same.
3 with Patrick Beverly. There's no
Yeah.
question. He's
Yeah.
one of the
Patrick
best
Beverly's
defenders in the
Patrick
league.
Beverly's like the modern day Tony Allen in his prime. He's like you know what I mean. He's like
Yeah.
the nobody guy who just he D's up. That's my thing. I go when I D up.
Bruce Bowen, yeah.
Yeah,
Bruce, yeah. And then you got Lou Williams. I love Lou Williams.
Yeah.
Coming
off
off the bench.
dude. 6th man of the year.
It's like the-
Montrezl Harrell.
He's
down
like
low
the
is a
sixth
good
man of the
player.
career. He's not even sixth man of the year.
Yeah.
It's
They-
Lou
they-
Williams and one other guy who were 6 men like
It was Jamal Crawford.
Jamal
I'm sure.
Crawford. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Just
It's like the
constant
same
6
guy almost. Just
They are. One wears a wig.
Although
Lou Williams
Lou
puts a wig
Williams,
on.
Lou Williams scores a lot.
Oh,
though.
can he
For a
get on
sixth man.
fire?
Yeah. This guy's like, I'm like, this guy drops like 35 today. Doesn't he play like 25 minutes? Like,
I love Lou Williams.
Maximizing
so we got
his attempts.
we got Clippers all on this side of the table. What do you got, Mike?
I got Clippers over Rockets in Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I can see the Rockets. Being
I got Clippers over Rockets and 2 punches thrown between Harden and Westbrook. They were already arguing. in the last game.
Westbrook just passed Magic Johnson on the all-time triple-double list.
I have the Clippers over the Nuggets.
What about
I like the
meaningful
Nuggets a lot.
The Nuggets
as a
are good.
team. I think Jokic is one of the best players in the league.
Yep. Nuggets are
Underrated
good.
guy, but
And the fact that Westbrook passed Magic Johnson on the triple doubles list just tells you all you really need to know about today's NBA, right? Because if you put 3,000 NBA fans in a room and told them who's better, Magic Johnson or Russell Westbrook, would anyone pick Russell Westbrook?
No.
Not a single person.
No, I know plenty. I know plenty of people who
Except the
would.
10-year-old.
can't be possible.
I know plenty of people
not-
who-
Yeah,
Let's
someone
say-
who doesn't know who Magic Johnson is, basically. That's the only people that you
I know
get.
plenty of people who are just my age or slightly younger who
Wait,
absolutely
th-
would.
Wait, they're NBA.
crazy.
You
It's
said
wild.
NBA fans, and then they didn't know Magic Johnson.
Well,
Wow.
you'd be surprised. I mean,
Yeah.
So
right.
current NBA fans that don't know anything about the history.
Well,
even
well,
though if you watch current games, they
as we've said,
graphic
as
everything from the
we've
past.
said in the past, most fans of teams suck.
Well,
well,
that's why I don't like the word fan, because fan is short for fanatic.
Yeah.
So there's no such thing as a casual fan.
I'm a lover.
casual fanatic.
It's,
What?
it's
I dabble in
Fanaticism?
Fanaticism.
as far
No, that's
as
extremism.
Yeah, whatever.
as far as most fan bases go, and most fans in general. I mean, obviously we're all outliers in this category, but it's a "what have you done for me lately" attitude with teams and players, and nobody cares or wants to remember what Magic Johnson did because he hasn't played in 20 years, 30 years, you know? So it's nobody. The people that would pick Russell Westbrook, it's a recency bias. That's all it really is.
No,
I don't even want to sit in a room and ask people who's better, Russell Westbrook or Magic Johnson.
I'm
Like,
gonna
I
get
wouldn't
angry.
even want
He's
to
gonna get mad.
no, what I'm saying is like
You should
who
never
would,
be in that
who would
situation.
come up with such a said poll? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even
Well, I mean, that it seems like that's how they were portraying it when they listed, Russell Westbrook passes Magic Johnson third all time. It's
That
like,
will-
Yeah, but
Well-
that's like what they did
Oh.
with Tom Brady when he got the last rushing touchdown he got was some sort of like milestone or like no the yardage, and I'm like, who gives a shit?
but that's
that's not a milestone really.
So-
That's just that's over
so-
the course of 30 years.
so I say this all the time. There's facts, right? You can say that this guy has more triple doubles, and you
Yeah.
can say that as a fact.
Yes,
But can we critically think about that and then form a sensible opinion? Like I was there the night Paul Pierce passed Larry Bird for most points with the Celtics. Does anybody think Paul Pierce is a better Celtic than Larry Bird?
No.
yeah,
Right.
better
absolutely.
Celtic or better player.
Yeah.
Either.
All right,
Either one, really.
Yeah.
In 2007, 2008, he was.
but that's
Maybe.
that's what I was.
that one, yeah.
But that's what I was gonna say about when he brought up the triple doubles. The first thing I said when I noticed was, is that meaningful triple doubles or is that like triple doubles that have any sort of like weight to them? Because how many times have we seen him just literally like be the guy under the basket going, dink it, miss it, get my own rebound, dink it, miss it, get my own. Like he's just nonsense, like the guy doing that.
Oh, he
in the
does.
backup.
He does
Hey,
the
I
Mike
used-
Gomes.
I used to do that
he
all
does
the time,
Mike
man.
Gomes.
He's like, that's a rebound, that's 2
When
points.
I-
Okay,
when I-
8 more points.
When I used to play against you at Keith, and you would do that like 4 straight times, I'm like, all right, is somebody gonna go grab this goddamn rebound?
But yeah,
Very low shooting percentage.
But
Yeah,
you know what? Your intimidation factor was 100. You're down to absolutely throw the gloves off right away. Percentage was about a 70, and
So speaking of controversial topics, what do we think about the Jaylen Brown contract? 4 years, $115 million, near max deal for a guy who's averaged 13 points a game.
dude,
last
didn't
year.
the maybe I don't know if it was the Lakers or what, but then like 4 years ago, didn't they pay Luol Deng like $80 billion to not play a single game that year? Like that's basketball contracts, man.
It was Deng and somebody else.
It's basketball
Yeah, I
contracts,
forget who it
man. It's
was.
crazy.
Who was the other guy?
It's wild.
I don't know who you're thinking of.
It was
either,
a
but
big white guy.
But I remember this. I remember
Big
they were
white
talking
guy.
about it,
It
and I'm like, yo, he's in a suit every
that
day.
actually does narrow it down in the NBA.
It was. Well, I'm trying to. Yeah.
Was it
trying-
Gasol?
It wasn't Gasol. This guy wasn't very good. He was average.
Gasol got a lot of money and didn't play a lot either
Yeah.
for the Lakers.
Oh my god, it's gonna drive me nuts. He was a center. He played for the Cavs, and he had a good playoff.
Oh,
And then they signed him, I
the guy
believe.
that played with LeBron.
Tristan Thompson?
He barely spoke English, like a Russian guy, right?
Yes.
What's his name? I can't think of his name.
It wasn't Ilgauskas,
That's
no,
who I'm
you're
thinking of.
Ilgauskas.
but it wasn't Ilgauskas.
That's who I'm thinking of.
It wasn't
Ilgauskas.
him though. I'm gonna look this up while you guys talk.
Okay. Go
Mike
ahead,
was
do your
out.
thing.
Remember we used to call Michael Gauskas.
Yeah, you're right.
I used to get Ginobili, even though I'm right.
Yeah, you do look
You
like
do look
Ginobili.
like Manu, but because you played center, we gave you Ilgauskas.
But yeah, you pay a guy almost a near max contract for a guy that scores 13 points a game, who has really plateaued in his development and isn't what you drafted him to be, really.
He's been too inconsistent.
Well, maybe
to
they
be
believe.
awarded that
Maybe they
much
believe they see what you were alluding to earlier with the Kyrie thing. Like they see what he will be, and he took a step back because of Kyrie, and maybe he's stunted a second. He needs to. Maybe they know that, and they want to get him now while
but this is
while
his-
that's the price.
This is 4th season. I mean, you gotta.
Well, he's only like 22, though.
yeah, but it's his 4th season at 22 when he'll play at least 38. So I mean, like
22,
it's-
23.
The thing is when you have a young guy like that, you'd like to see some sort of progression in his skill set
Yeah.
and his ability to get better every year. And you haven't seen that.
Well,
Yeah,
the thing is, though, you have 3 players all pretty much in the same position. Could play the 2, play the 3. And you got to decipher minutes between him, Tatum, and Hayward.
yeah,
But also, too, you want to get Marcus Smart in there at the 2 spot or the 1 spot
yeah,
for defense.
yeah. And he's been
So
coming off the bench.
It's such a log jam in that middle part where
Yeah.
people's minutes are going to suffer
Mhm.
and consistency will suffer.
Yeah, and that's the thing that just kind of shocked me about them giving him the big deal is like, if you realize you're in that position where, guys are suffering maybe shot attempts or playing time, or they're in a position battle because of the depth that you have at the position. Why do you go out and give a guy $115 million?
Right, because he turned down 4 years, $80 million. I'm like, you're not going to get a better offer than that, even in the open market.
And then the Celtics said, hold my beer.
But yet, the Celtics played to that hand.
It seems a little early to give him that. I mean, could he work himself into being that kind of player? Yeah, he has that potential. But you're still doing the projection. I mean, I guess in the front office you can do that, and you're supposed to do that. But
think of it from the standpoint of what you said about the whole 2-point conversion thing with Flores. If you get it, you're a genius. If you don't, you're an idiot. And that's what people think. So if they truly believe in what Jaylen Brown can be, and they believe in what you said about him having his growth stunted by Kyrie, if they're true believers of that, their thought process is get him now for $115 million before it's $200 million.
I understand the contracts trend up, right? Every year it seems to be the case in every sport, right? The contracts just continue to trend up. But $115 for a guy that's giving you 13 points a game and has not gotten better since he came into the league is it's an overreach.
I think so too.
And it's a risky overreach because this is a guy that, you know, may maintain the pace he's on this year and next year, and now you're looking into trying to ship him, and who's going to want to take on that?
Right.
Nobody.
So the guy that I was thinking of before that the Lakers had signed for big money with Luol Deng was Timothy Mozgov.
Mozgov.
4 years, $64 million. They signed Deng and Mozgov for big money together.
Dude, the real king of LA is Caruso, and we all know it.
Alex Caruso.
Want to talk some football?
Yeah, let's get into football because we actually do have a lot of topics, and we are about down to 35 minutes. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be the shortest NFL segment we've probably ever done. But
we talk. Honestly, I'm going to say it, we talk too much basketball. We got to narrow it.
It's the first show we've talked basketball.
Yeah. We got to wrap it up. We got to wrap that up.
Too much basketball. One day is too much.
Yeah, too much.
But over in the NFL, a lot of trade news this week. A lot of sneaky kind of moves here going on, especially with the Pats. We have Josh Gordon over to the IR for a knee injury, and reports come out after the fact that the knee injury wasn't season-ending, but they move him to the IR, and based on the rule of the league, once you do that and the player returns from injury, he has to be dropped. So
this was all. Listen, it's all some sort of scam.
It is, and
he'll be re-signed through some loophole, and if they re-sign him that way, he gets 8 power-up points, which makes him 3 speeds faster, and then he comes back better. That's how it's going to work, because it's
like Super Mario Brothers.
Anytime they do something that doesn't look like it makes sense to us, it makes sense to them.
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. This was clearly done.
Well, no, you've seen you've seen a bunch of statuses go, why put a guy on IR just to cut him? There's a reason.
This is by design. I mean, and it's probably going to be to save money on their cap, I'm assuming, right? If they cut him and then re-sign him, but he's going to be eligible to go to the waiver wire. That's the thing. Yeah. So the Patriots are banking on the fact that he doesn't get picked up in waivers, which is a real possibility.
And I'll say this right now, and not that any NFL teams are watching, but if you're smart, you will pick him up and then go,
want him back?
Want him back. Yeah. Oh, and before that, I think that's the second option. Number one option, shut him down. You're sitting the rest of the year. Later. We're keeping
but
we're
you
keeping
burn
a weapon.
Roster spot for that.
You do.
It's worth it. It's all warfare on the biggest opponent. Take him off the board for your biggest opponent. And the Patriots are every team in the league's biggest opponent.
I mean, if I was a team like Miami, I'd do something like that just out of spite. But if you're a team,
if I'm the Chiefs, I'm doing it.
If I'm the Chiefs,
I'm doing it.
If you're a team that's trying to win, you're not going to do that because you can only carry maybe 5 wide receivers. So you're not going to burn up a spot on a guy.
You're going to burn up a spot if you're going to play him.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're trying to win, if you're not trying to win,
that's what a practice squad's for. You bump a guy down, and then if something happens during the season in which this experiment's not working, now we cut him.
I know, but right now every NFL team has a 53-man roster, so they have to release a guy to get Josh Gordon.
Okay,
so you're releasing a guy to bring him in, so you can't just bump him down to your practice squad and. Like, okay, we now have 54 men. No, you have to. They have to get rid of a guy to get Josh Gordon. So what team is willing to get rid of a guy to acquire a guy like Josh?
I think a team who's ready to start thinking outside the box and get rid of and stop mediocrity. What I just brought up as an idea is something I bet Bill Belichick would have thought to do. I bet Bill Belichick would have thought to do that. Take a guy from a rival and just shut his ass down. If they tried the same thing, I think he would try doing something.
Too valuable. They're too valuable.
It's only valuable to people who haven't transcended the idea that they control it, and that's what Belichick has done. He can get around anything. Injury doesn't stop this man.
yeah.
Literally, nothing stops him.
I agree,
So
but
once coaches understand that and coaches get savvy, then they'll be able to do things too.
and they're-
I think it's a good move. Or like you said, go to the second option of we got him, you want him.
yeah. I mean that would be a smarter idea, I think, because if you bring Gordon in and you know that there's rumors out there that the Patriots are still looking to pick up a wide receiver and a tight end, even since bringing in Mohamed Sanu, who we're going to talk about in a minute. But if now there was a reason for this designation on the IR. There's something they're trying to accomplish by
course.
putting him there to cut him.
Yeah.
And it's usually to bring him back. We
What I don't-
saw it with Demarius Thomas, right? They brought him back.
And Ben Watson.
Gave him veteran minimum. Ben Watson
Yep.
brought him back, gave him veteran minimum. They know how to manipulate the cap to save themselves some money.
What I don't understand though is why it hasn't come out yet, the plan. Because by now, like all these reporters and stuff know the rules.
Because he hasn't been dropped yet.
He's going to get cut
That-
within
but-
the next 2 weeks, and then we'll figure it. You know,
That-
we'll
But
see
I'm
what's going
surprised
on.
someone hasn't come out with already a this is their plan. This is what they're going to do just off what's speculation. Just a speculation
Also,
of
you have 2 days left until the trade deadline.
it. Mm-hmm.
That's why
Yeah.
nothing's come out.
Yeah.
Also,
Good point.
So not that this is important, but Kenyon Drake's going to get traded to Detroit Lions by Tuesday. I'm gonna say that right now.
Yeah, and he's going to turn into that other guy that Detroit had that was just like Kenyon Drake.
Yeah,
What was his
Javid
name?
Best?
No, the other like
Theo Riddick.
no, the other guy that he was like a rookie. What the hell?
Oh, he had the.
It's not Javid Best?
No, he was like a shifty rookie that could
It's not Javid
Amir
Best.
Abdullah.
no,
the ball.
it's like Abdul something.
Amir
Abdullah.
Amir
Amir
Abdullah.
Abdullah.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
He's going to
yeah.
turn into that guy, and no one's going to hear from him again.
I don't know. Amir Abdullah was
Okay.
he was all right. I don't think he was like Drake at all though. Drake's a home run hitter if he hits the open field. I don't think Abdullah was that.
Yeah,
I think Javid Best is closer. Just a track star, played running back.
Yeah, but
Abdullah-
Abdullah in the open field was dangerous.
yeah, he was. He was more of a scat back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the Pats did help themselves a little bit here this week since we've been off the show, trading what a lot of people are calling an overpayment.
Oh, I can't wait to
of
talk
a-
about
of a
this.
Well, I'm gonna
s- a
say
second
I can't
round.
wait.
because nobody said this. They say it's a second round pick, and that's high, and I agree
Yeah.
that's high. But that's probably the last pick in the second round.
Yeah.
or close
So-
to
Sure.
it.
So that's almost a third round pick.
Sure.
Let's,
Yeah.
let's just clarify that. I
It
didn't
is.
hear
But
anybody
also,
say that.
but
Stop
also,
there.
but also, let me because I've been wanting to talk about this.
So-
let me.
Well, we got to finish the topic here.
Yeah.
Some people
Okay,
don't
right,
know,
right.
but the Patriots move a second round pick, whether or not it's top of the round.
Well, it
we
makes a
don't
big
know.
difference. The
It-
value of the first pick in the second round versus
Yeah.
the last.
So they trade that over to Atlanta and acquire Mohamed Sanu.
And he'll make big plays in the
it's-
big games.
It's
and he'll
gonna
win.
help their offense
Mhm.
without a doubt. He's a good player.
Guaranteed.
He's a serviceable player. He's a big receiver. He can make plays. But a second round pick is pretty valuable.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. He's going to make big plays, and they're going to win the championship. And
So yeah.
it doesn't matter.
So the
You got-
Mohamed Sanu thing.
That
People.
pumpkin beer got him all.
No, I'm not mad. I just I know how this works.
I've had Pats fans ask me, "Oh, why'd we get Sanu?" And I'm like, "Well, it's if you watched football, you would know that Mohamed Sanu is a gadget player, and the Pats like gadget players.
They do.
They like throwing the ball with Edelman. They do it rarely. Mohamed Sanu's better at
He
it.
was a quarterback, wasn't he?
Yes, but he's tiny.
No, Sanu. I'm saying.
Well,
Sanu
Edelman
throws
as
the
well.
ball a lot.
Yeah, Mohamed.
Sanu was a quarterback
Yeah,
before he was a receiver.
Mohamed's better. That's what I'm saying. Mohamed's better at it.
Mhm.
And not only that, he's also a better athlete.
Yeah.
He's not a better receiver than Edelman by
Wasn't
any
it
means,
like
but he's a better athlete.
A year or two ago, Sanu threw like a 60-yard bomb to Julio.
Yeah.
over the
that.
course of like an 8-year career, he's got 158 passer rating. It's perfect. He's never missed a pass.
I think they
Um,
overpaid in terms of in a vacuum, but it's the New England Patriots.
So here's the thing with that. I'm not giving them a pass. I'm not saying because they're going to win the Super Bowl. No, and here's why. Second round pick towards the end. Okay, fine. Cowboys give up a first round pick for Amari Cooper. That would have ended up being what, the 27th pick in the first round, in a draft with no wide receivers. We got destroyed.
I don't care what the media
We
says.
got-
Or fans.
I'm like with the show. I like to speak directly to things like that. So like we got destroyed. Mohamed Sanu's trash. He's trash. He's
Not
trash
trash.
in terms over the course of as a receiver. But if we break it down, like if we get
His numbers aren't good.
yeah, that's
They
trash.
don't need him numbers. They need him to make a big play at the right time.
If we're comparing him as a receiver, he's trash. However, that's a different curve when you're grading them on playing for the Patriots. Obviously, we all know that. But a second round pick for a receiver who's never gone over 700 yards receiving. I think it was his best, 7 something.
No, 830.
Okay, 830 was his best. He's what, 30 years old, 29 years
I'll
old.
pull it up while you talk. Okay.
They don't need him to get big. They need him to catch 4 passes
Yep.
for 52 yards and a big play in the right time.
And you're right. And we needed our guy to get 3 200-yard games in a 16-game span, and we did.
And
You're in a different place than them. They have cachet built up for years, for decades.
and
He looks rough, dude.
And I made this argument too when this news broke, and I was talking to Patriots fans,
He's 30.
and a couple of them brought up a great point, and I didn't think about it this way. Mohamed Sanu has always played the number 2 role behind an elite receiver,
Yeah.
right? He was AJ Green's little brother in Cincy.
Yeah.
Then he became Julio's little brother in Atlanta.
And now he's been the 3 with Calvin Ridley.
And Calvin Ridley,
Maybe
and Calvin
even
Ridley's
the
not
fourth.
even a special receiver, and he took Mohamed Sanu's
He's
spot.
been maybe even the 4th option there with Austin Hooper emerging. So I mean,
you don't get Mohamed Sanu because you need him to be special in this situation.
No, you get him
So-
because he's clearly a guy who's proven you can trick people with him. He's a guy. So, like I've said in the past about Belichick, he wants a dude with a brain more than he wants to do with legs. He wants a guy who can learn what he's going to teach and execute it the way he wants it. He understands Sanu's thrown a lot of passes over the course of his career. He's done a lot of trick plays. He's done things. He goes, okay, this is a smart receiver. I just care about you doing what I tell you during the game and knowing that I can turn my back and you're going to execute it flawlessly. That's what this is. And that's fine. But I just want to call out some hypocrisy to some of the Pats fans who are happy about this and then trashing us for Amari Cooper, who over the course of one whole season now that he's played, he is the best receiver in football.
Yeah, 838 he had last year with Atlanta. That was his best season.
838, and that's on a team with Matt Ryan. He will never do that again.
His best.
That's on a team with Matt Ryan, who probably had Sarkisian as the OC.
Yep.
That's why you did
Well,
that. He will never do that again.
He's in a position with the Patriots to match or
No, not match.
exceed those numbers. Not now because he's coming in 8 weeks in, but if Brady plays one more year and he plays with Sanu the entire season, I think he can put up 800.
I don't think so because I still see Sanu as a guy who only catches 3 passes a game, even if they're very important ones.
That's all
But
they
on
need.
New England,
All
though,
they
you think
need.
on New
That's
England,
all they need.
we've seen players like Amendola and who was the guy I'm thinking of right now, the long ball guy from Buffalo there, Chris Hogan. These guys go
7-Eleven.
You know what I mean? These guys go from nobodies to studs on this team, but it's how they run their offense. And I think Sanu has the intangibles. He's a good receiver.
But look at what you just named. You just named 2 dudes who can't get open on their own. They're two guys who are good students of the game that are not athletic.
He's gonna,
and they sit in the zone.
He's going to play, even though he's shiftier, he's going to play kind of like that Brandon LaFell role.
Mhm.
Or Brandon Lloyd.
as long as he doesn't play the Rashay Caldwell role.
Oh, my God. Or
But-
Doug Gabriel.
But we're talking about guys. We're talking about 2 dudes in Amendola and Thing who are like, "Hey, get to a spot. You'll be open in that spot. We'll throw it to you." When over the course of history with the Pats, the athletic guys are used as athletic guys. So Mohamed Sanu will be thrown to on slants on 3rd and 2 in man-to-man coverage, and he'll get that catch and then not see the field for another quarter.
Mr. Hilchey says one team's trash is a Patriots championship.
Yeah.
That's kind of true.
Well, he's not.
Yeah.
He's not trash, but
No, he's saying like
Definitely trash.
he's saying like teams that get rid of
yeah. Well, they have to. They're 1-6. I mean, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
Atlanta needs a makeover at this point, and the 2nd round pick doesn't mean a hell of a lot for New England.
Oh my
They'll-
god, dude! In 8 years, he has 25 touchdowns.
See, we're focused on the numbers though, and it has
I know,
nothing to do with that.
listen,
literally has nothing to do with why this is a good
Listen,
trade.
none of them. Nothing.
Nothing.
I shouldn't have to preface this. Goddamn it! Everything I'm saying has nothing to do with what he'll do on the Pats and what the Pats will use him for. Dude, the Pats could literally get me on their team, and I can make a meaningful play that can win them a game.
He could
The
catch one
Pats
ball
are-
the whole
it's
time
simple.
in New England, but it'll be in the Super
The
Bowl
Pats
when
can
they need
take
a 3rd and 17.
The Pats could take any one of us on this table, write up a play that the teams that a league's never seen before for us, and one of us would catch it because it's the Pats. I get that. I'm just want to trash him a little bit because I hate people. That's all. In 9 years, Des Bryant had 80 touchdowns. Suck it, Patriots fans. Except for Mike. Hilchey's my boy.
Jesus.
What do you think about the trade, Mike? You think a second is a reach for Mohamed Sanu?
I thought it was high. I thought maybe a third or fourth would have been better suited.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you guys know since March I've been saying third round pick for AJ Green, which that might still be on the table with what we're seeing online on the rumors,
Yeah.
along with Tyler Eifert and just recently Nate Solder in the trade market.
Oh yeah. Oh man, Nate Solder. You mean that nasty left tackle that got all that money? Man. Yeah. Yeah. He's gonna go back, and you know what's gonna happen? His Pro Football Focus ranking as a lineman's gonna shoot right through the roof if he goes back to the Patriots.
What they really need is just find somebody else other than Edelman to be reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what they're looking for. And Gordon, even though he had that knee issue, even before the knee issue when he made that tackle against the Giants on Thursday Night Football, he wasn't getting separation and he was dropping passes.
Yeah. He didn't look good. That's for sure. And
It seems to me he is what we thought he was, but some people are too
there's-
delusional
well,
to see it.
There's also been rumors
Dennis
that
Green.
there's also been rumors around Josh Gordon that the injury designation on the IR could potentially be another relapse, and this is trying to be kept hush hush behind the scenes here. So we'll see. And
So
then,
marijuana doesn't help a knee injury?
oh, I'm sure it does. But if this is another relapse, I mean, the NFL has to just get rid of this guy for good.
Yeah.
I mean, where is your credibility if you could just continue to bring this guy back? And we talked about this on the show, like third, fourth, fifth chances at rehab. Like, I
Yeah.
get it, man. If-
Relapse is part of recovery.
It
so
is.
if the NFL knew anything about addiction, they would expect relapses to happen.
but
Fair.
they
Because
would.
It's part
but,
of the process.
but the
of
NFL
recovery.
doesn't have to care.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, I'm not saying they have to. I'm just saying they would if they
You're-
understand
you're-
that they would know that.
You're 100% right. Failing is like the first 5 steps to like recovery. Facts. But at the end of the day, in a capitalist society,
I agree. Of course.
they don't have to give a shit, and they shouldn't. And
Of
they
course.
should set a precedent.
I agree with you.
His
We're just
family
putting-
shouldn't give up on him. His friends shouldn't give up on him. The NFL should.
All right. So I wanted to quickly touch on something that I thought was pretty ingenious here on was it the Patriots play Sunday night?
They played the
Monday
Jets.
night.
Monday night. That's
Oh,
right.
what a boring
So-
game
We're
that
Still
was.
talking
Oh
about
my
this?
God.
Jesus.
Yes, because
I wanted to put on Monday Night Raw.
They were
That's
up
how boring it
33
was.
nothing. He just wanted to go home earlier. That's all it was, dude. It wasn't smart or anything
No, it
crazy.
was
He
smart.
just wanted to
And-
go home
and
earlier.
and it was smart. And I think it'll begin to be utilized. But what we're getting at here is Belichick exploiting a loophole in the rules to run off 90 seconds of clock, essentially, and waste. Like, he didn't want to punt, but he didn't want to give the Jets the ball back. And he
Listen.
was like, "This game should just be over."
It was a good maneuver by him, but come on, the game was over. It didn't
Exactly.
matter. He
If
didn't
he-
need to
if
run
he-
up
if he
90
did
seconds.
this in a-
33 to
I
nothing.
love the fact that he cracked the smile too. Like, he
You
couldn't,
know,
he
I
couldn't
do
hold
like
it.
that.
He couldn't hold it.
My whole thing with this is if he did this in a game that was down to a field goal, I would want to talk about it for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
because he literally
Yeah,
was just like,
yeah.
listen, I'm trying to
The
go home
game
and bang
was-
my wife, dude. Let's go.
We're not going to talk about it for 20 minutes. I'm making like that. This is definitely something that the league has to kind of look at, though, because if you're in a game where say this is the NFC Championship and this comes down to a defensive stop and we need the ball back to score and there's a minute left, the other team has the ability to, on third down, to run the ball. The team has no timeouts, keep the clock running, get 2 penalties on purpose, and end the game.
Yeah.
But isn't that predicated on you declining the penalties? Accepting them, does that not stop the clock?
But accepting them doesn't help you, though. Because in this situation, he was on the 35-yard line, and he was going to punt 4 yards or 5. Like, it was going to be an awful punt. So them declining the penalty was actually helping their field position.
Right.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, what is the downfall of accepting the penalties for the other team? Is there a way for them to combat it by accepting the penalties?
Yeah, if they wanted to get the ball back, they could have. In
Okay,
that situation, they could have got the ball back if they did that.
If they accept the penalties, does the clock stop?
Yes, a penalty stops the clock.
Yeah. And if you're
That's
talking
what I'm
about a
saying.
championship game, he wouldn't have been able to get away with this.
That's what
in
I'm
the
saying.
Same way.
So is he smart or is Adam Gase just a moron?
Well, no.
yeah.
Adam Gase, I'm sure, knew that when he declined the penalty, the clock was going to run. But it's 33-0 with
He probably
Which is
didn't-
why I don't know why we're even talking
With
about
2
it.
minutes
Yeah,
left.
why
That's the point
didn't
I'm
they, like
making.
they do in high school, these blowout high school? Why didn't the coaches just come together and say, "Let's just play with a running clock the rest of the way. This thing's over."
Mercy rule.
Please get Adam Gase out of there.
Or do it like they do at Teamworks Flag Football, where the refs just go, you know what, my show's coming on. And it's halfway into the second half. Hey, we're done here. We're leaving it. We're done. You guys won.
Yeah. What else? So the Mohamed Sanu trade really kind of hit home as an overpayment for me when I saw the Emmanuel Sanders trade, because Emmanuel Sanders goes over to the 49ers for a third and a fourth round pick, and the 49ers get a fifth in return. So a receiver who has had a much better career than Mohamed Sanu and is a better receiver than Mohamed Sanu, and probably could have made more of an impact than
bring him
Mohamed
up.
Sanu. He gets traded for a third and a fourth.
Third and the fourth is probably more valuable than the last pick in the second round.
2 picks, yeah.
Two
I mean,
picks. It's the last pick in
there
the second
was-
round, probably.
talks of the Patriots going after Sanders. My guess is Denver probably didn't want to trade him to the Patriots,
Probably.
Which is smart.
where they had to settle elsewhere, look in the NFC, and get Sanu for a second round pick.
Yeah.
I would have rather had Sanders,
Of course.
No, player for player, yeah, no question.
but
I'm going to pull up his
take what
numbers
you can
here.
get
I got
to
it.
try
Yeah,
to
well,
improve
yeah.
your position.
Yeah, Sanders over the course of here we go. My computer's freezing.
And there's no Emmanuel Sanders. I think had 3,000 or 4,000 yard seasons in a row with Peyton on Denver.
Yeah, when they had Thomas and Sanders.
Yeah,
He had 3 in a row. He's only had 3 in his career.
and great trade for the 49ers. This guy's going to walk in and be the number 1 receiver.
Oh,
for them,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's had 3,000 yard seasons. He's just outside of 7,500 yards, and he has
Yeah, 3 in a row. Yep, 3 in a row.
39 touchdowns.
Why is that bad? That's not that bad.
That's terrible. You should be ashamed of
In
himself.
10 years, I mean,
39 touchdowns?
Touchdowns is a gimmick
yeah,
stat.
whatever, dude.
Totally.
Well, he only played
He had
really.
I mean,
a
Julio
season-
couldn't get in the end zone.
He only played really a season and a half with Peyton Manning, because that
The injury.
final half of the season, Osweiler, and then
Yeah.
even when Peyton was in there,
He was
his
not
arm was
himself.
dead.
He's had 6'9", 6'5". Those are
Those are regular
solid
numbers, yeah.
Yeah,
seasons. But he's had a couple of 2
and then
ones.
he's had
That's
2
the
and
problem.
1, and
Yeah.
okay, it's
But-
not good. Why
But at
are we
those
being
years,
liberal about
if
this?
if you look at those years were on Pittsburgh when he wasn't a featured receiver. I mean, he was.
No, but for what he did on Pittsburgh is what got him his job on the Broncos.
Yeah, and I wanted the Patriots to go after him instead
Emmanuel
of Brandon
Sanders-
LaFell going into 2014.
Emmanuel Sanders was like the spark that showed everybody, hey, the Steelers put out receivers. They're a receiver factory. He was the one, and then since then they have. Yeah, I mean, dude, good receiver over the course of his career. Very good receiver, hands down. I just think it's gross that he has 39 touchdowns. That's all. He's leaps and bounds better than Mohamed Sanu.
Yeah, but he's not a red zone threat. He's a guy that will get a touchdown on a long.
But even
catch,
if he had 50, that wouldn't be good, and I'd be like, okay, I get it, because you're more of a slot receiver.
50 touchdowns is good. I mean, how many receivers have 50 touchdowns in their career? If you pulled up the list of receivers with 50 touchdowns, they'd all be elite receivers.
I'm saying guys who are only a couple 100,000 yards away from 10 grand in your career. How many have 50? Probably all of them. Who have close to that, almost 10,000 yards? Probably all of them.
I don't know. I mean, that's something we can look into. For
And
another
again,
show.
he's an overinflated slot receiver. I've always said that about Emmanuel. He's a slot receiver who's so good that a team was like, we got to play you at outside receiver. And for 3 seasons, he did very well with it.
Well, he's a slot build. That's his thing. Yes.
But the Lions did this too. They took Golden Tate and Marvin Jones and said play 1 and 2, and it's like we're
Marvin
both
Jones
great slots.
Marvin Jones is
Yeah,
a big
up.
body.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a big bodied guy.
Yeah.
He's a little different.
But Golden Tate, who was a very good receiver, didn't fell off, and I think it's because of how they used him. Marvin Jones is adapting well. He's doing good, but Marvin Jones is bigger than Golden Tate, so he can adapt better.
Yep.
Emmanuel's very fast. Emmanuel's very fast, very quick. So he can. So that's why he's been able to adapt. Emmanuel's been a very good receiver over the course of his career. Going from a guy who was just like a third, fourth option. Yeah, I like Emmanuel Sanders a lot.
Let's talk a little bit about another Patriots move, a trade with Dallas.
I love this.
I hated it.
So I don't love it because of the player. I love it because we're the first team in a decade to not get fleeced by the Patriots in a trade. Because Jerry Jones isn't a moron.
Well, I don't
Any
think,
other team would have gave a fourth up for that idiot.
I don't think so. Not at this point. If it was prior to the philosophical disagreement with a coach, yes.
Let me say this. I talked about Philip Dorsett when he was traded to the Pats a while back, and I said this will pay dividends eventually, and everyone thought I was an idiot. Philip Dorsett, first of all, stayed on that team longer than anyone thought. And now Philip Dorsett and Tom Brady are the most accurate connection in football, and no one can cover Philip Dorsett.
Mike, what
And
did you
they're
guys
7-0.
give up for Michael Bennett when you got him, when you acquired him? It was a fourth or a fifth, wasn't it?
Which is gross at a point in his career that he's at. But the Patriots can
look
do
it
shit
up.
like that, as Mike has alluded to earlier, with like giving a second for Muhammad.
Yeah,
Patriots can
because
do
then,
stuff like
they
that.
trade the first round pick and get 3 seconds.
Yeah.
It was there unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt.
But I am I'm fully a believer that any other team would have given up more than we did for him because they fleece everybody and it's annoying. It really is.
So,
The best this pick can be is a sixth. The best.
yeah,
It's a
which,
seven with a
That's
which-
worth it.
which
You're
in the-
still trying to
yeah,
get somewhere and do
exactly,
something with your season.
exactly. That's absolutely worth it for him.
for Dallas, let me preface this by saying that I can't stand Michael Bennett, and
neither can I.
hate the person that is Michael Bennett. I respect
Tell
the
us how
fact.
you really feel.
I respect the fact that
hate
he's.
this
I respect the fact that he's a good football player, and he has been a part of championship teams, and he's kind of established at his position.
You mean you can have 2 competing ideas? Oh my
Imagine
god,
that.
this is
It's
insane
wild,
in this
man.
society.
So,
wild.
so I love the move from a football talent standpoint because you give up next to nothing to
Yeah,
get a
And
guy.
we're
Right.
losing depth on the line rapidly.
But I hate that I'm gonna have to root for this guy now.
So it's a
But-
conditional
but-
2021 draft pick
Yep.
for 7th round.
Could turn to a sixth.
Yep.
But you know that you're rooting for Laundry.
Yeah.
I
Were
mean,
you
53 guys? Come on.
able to
Yeah.
look up what you guys gave up for Michael?
It didn't
Bennett?
tell me on
Didn't tell
here
you?
what.
So Bennett at the
We
end of the
give up.
day, on third down on big plays, is still someone that tackles might jump off sides for, might fall start for.
We had talked about it last week because we talked about Michael Bennett with the situation in New England and how they were that was good for him. Mike Hilchey said that him not playing, he was going to be fresh and rested and probably make some big plays down the stretch. And the same thing for Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, he's a guy who strikes fear into people based on the time on that clock, the down you're at, the yards on the field. Is he a every down guy? No. Is he going to play even 50% of the game? Maybe not.
Well, this is a depth move for Dallas because you got DeMarcus Lawrence on one end and you got Quinn on the other end. Quinn dealing with a rib injury, and now you have a viable backup in Michael Bennett who's going to be able to play more on Dallas.
Keep
But here's
guys
the thing.
fresh.
Here's the thing. I don't
rotate.
know if he becomes a backup. He might start right away. And here's why. Quinn is a straight up liability in the run game. Quinn is not meant to stop the run. He never has been. He's a big guy, but he's a twink build.
Yeah, but he's our best pass rusher this season, so he's not gonna. They're not gonna.
But
Take
the
him off
teams
field.
that are beating us are teams we can't stop grinding first downs. They're running right by us on the ground. That's the big issue we're having. And we're a team that don't usually get run on.
Yeah, I just feel like from a team standpoint, you don't take a guy like that off the field.
Well, here's what I'm
for
saying.
Michael Bennett,
Well,
who's
here's-
just walking in the door week 8.
Well, here's what I'm saying.
Maybe over the
D-line-
course of the next few games. That might
Here's what
happen.
I'm saying. D-line isn't cut and dry when it comes to starter. There's a lot that goes into starter on D-line. You could be the sub-package starter. You can be the 1-2 down starter. You can be. It's not the same as other positions. Do I think Bennett plays first and second down? Yeah. Do I think, depending on the situation and the score, Quinn plays the whole game? Yeah. Do I think if we're in control, does Quinn only come in on third and fourth? Yeah. I think all those things.
Yeah, it could be definitely a situational approach to who's in the game at that point, without a doubt. But I don't really foresee it limiting Quinn's playing time at all.
A tiny bit, just to have him fresh and have a rotation. But other than not that much.
And to speak to the injury, he's fine. There'll be no issues coming off the bye week as well. Langland Van Der Esch as well. There's a rib thing. Honestly, I saw it happen, and I was like, we're killing them, and that's why he's out of the game. That's the only reason. He's not hurt. He's fine.
Speaking of, the Eagles are in absolute turmoil.
Even though I picked them today to beat the Bills.
I don't know if you guys have paid attention to what happened this week with the Eagles, but Orlando Scandrick gets cut immediately after the Cowboys game.
Which is
They
hilarious.
cut somebody else with him. Who was the other guy?
It's so funny. It's like, we only kept
Well,
you for this game,
They
idiot.
cut
They
the
got him.
linebacker 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but they cut somebody with Scandrick.
Zach
that was,
Brown.
Yeah,
Who I said
I
we
don't
should have
know-
signed before the
I don't
Eagles
know who
game.
they cut with
they cut
Scandrick.
somebody with Scandrick. Let me
But
see.
Scandrick does an interview with Skip and Shannon on that show, and
Undisputed.
Undisputed, and they ask him the hard questions and he answers them. They ask him, what's going on with the Eagles locker room? Why is a team with this much talent and this head coach underperforming? And he was brutally honest. He made comparisons, obviously, to what he knows, Dak and Carson. And by the way he was talking, he was basically saying that he doesn't feel like Carson Wentz is a good leader, and he doesn't feel like this team has a full understanding of how to handle adversity, because he said this team was made up of a lot of young players who walked into this team, won a championship, and now they don't understand, this doesn't just happen all the time.
Right.
And he was basically saying that there's a lot of blame being misplaced on people, and a lot of lack of accountability, players showing up late, no consequences, and it sounds like the locker room's in absolute turmoil.
I mean, but every Eagles fan will interpret this as, salty because you got cut. Now, is what he's saying true, or is he salty because he got cut?
Yeah, I mean, what is it? What benefit does he have to get on a show on national television and lie about all those things?
I mean, you can say that, but we've seen that happen 1,000 times.
That would be the impulsive response. The other one would say, if you're going to go out there and trash teams, we're not going to pick you. I'm not going to pick this guy up media-wise.
So maybe he means it if he's willing to risk that, number one.
Or he's impulsive.
Or he's super impulsive.
Before he was angry. I don't know.
Although
I'll say this over the course of his career, but you were probably about to say, Skandrick never came off as that guy.
No, he didn't. And he was a quiet guy in Dallas, and he didn't. But he's nearing the end of his rope in his career.
Yeah,
he's a guy who should be proud of the career he had.
He's been in discussions of getting cut for a while now. He was in that discussion when he was on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So the other guy that they cut was Akeem Spence, defensive tackle. Is a pretty good player,
which is a good player.
And he got signed right away by Jacksonville.
Yeah, Akeem Spence is a good player, and Jacksonville's got quite a rotation at D-line. So
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, man. I don't know. I haven't been a Carson Wentz believer since day one, number one, and everyone knows that. And that's not because he's on the Eagles. Because as an objective person, I would be the person coming on here going, "I'm so mad and terrified and pissed that they have him. If he truly was something special in my eyes, and he's not." I'll say this. Because I want to be objective. Carson Wentz credit. There's no quarterback in the league harder to sack in the pocket than Carson Wentz. He is the hardest quarterback in the league to sack when he is in the pocket. He has a third eye. He reminds me of Tony Romo when he was young. You hit him in the pocket and he doesn't go down. He just spins out of it. But he's better than Dak at it.
Dallas had about 4 or 5 sacks on him this week, didn't
they? But how many did we miss? We should have had 10.
It was Big Ben at one point.
We should have had 10. And all Big Ben did was stand there and get him bounce off because he was so fat. But, dude, Carson Wentz is so elusive. Like, people just slide off him. And I'll give him that. Amazing.
He's a big-bodied guy.
He's not small. No. People think these quarterbacks small. Now he's 230 pounds. Dak's 240. But Dak's the better athlete. Dak's the guy who runs a lot. Dak's the guy who scores rushing touchdowns. Yeah, Dak's average at breaking tackles in the pocket. Carson Wentz is elite at it. Carson Wentz is elite.
Dak has less awareness inside the pocket, though. That's
who's a better QB?
I'd still take Dak.
And
the numbers.
Who throws the ball better? Probably Carson Wentz. Dak's a guy who's an athlete who was made into a quarterback. We've talked about this many times, and sometimes those guys don't have the best mechanics in the world.
I have the comparison right here. Jared Goff versus Carson Wentz versus Dak over the last 16 games. Dak wins in completion percentage, passing yards, yards per attempt. He's second in touchdowns out of those 3. And he absolutely destroys all of them in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. Passer rating.
No. What do you got, Mike?
I'm just saying completion percentage is another stat for me that's it depends what you, because the highest completion percentage in a game I think in NFL history was Ryan Tannehill. And completion, you're throwing 3-yard passes.
I think it's Kurt Warner
in a single
game.
What
was it?
No, yeah, I think it's Kurt Warner in a single game.
I don't know, 28 out of 30 passing.
Yeah, I believe that's Kurt Warner.
Because Kirk Cousins just had 88.5%.
Well, it might have changed, but
I believe it was Kurt Warner.
But it's always these guys who dump the ball off. Half the passes are behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. That's fair. But let's say this to Dak's credit. And again,
I'm not knocking Dak.
No.
I'm just saying the numbers like
you like to make points that kind of prove stats lie sometimes, and I like that.
Sometimes.
I like that.
Is that a new
What's the number?
game?
from last November,
Yeah, that's why.
96.96.
96.
So what was? Do we have
For
like?
Mariota's 2 at 95.7, surprisingly.
So these are all new
So
though.
Then Tannehill, 94.7.
I knew it was 2
That
years
should
ago.
tell you what you need to know is Mariota's
Tannehill
number
and
2 on that
Tannehill.
list.
Now,
And
but hold on. Kurt Warner had it for a while, and I think more than one game, and it was over 30-something completions.
All right, so I'll give you an example. If you throw 30 passes in a game,
Kurt Warner is tied for 14th at 92.3. Because before recent seasons, since 2012, because Alex
14th,
Smith was 94.7. Craig Morton, when he was with the Broncos in 1981.
Yeah.
completion percentage takes
94.4.
into account a lot of
And
stuff.
Fran Tarkin, too.
If I throw 30 passes and there's 10 drops in the game, and you ran the wrong route 7 times, I have 17 plays already that
Yep.
I threw the ball in the right spot.
No, you're right, 100%. So let me say this. This is what I was going to say to Dak's credit. This year, I don't know if he's leading all quarterbacks, but he's amongst the top in downfield passing. So he's making difficult throws and still beating those guys in passer rating and completion.
Right.
That's what I like about it.
Let's talk quickly about Drew Brees because Drew Brees is back this week from injury, and it's week 8. They haven't lost a game with Teddy Bridgewater at the helm, and next week, week 9, is New Orleans bye week.
Yeah.
What's Teddy Bridgewater's number? Does anybody know?
What's his numbers?
Yeah, his number on his jersey.
Is it 12?
No, 8 or 9. No, it's not 9. That's Drew Brees. I think it might be 8.
Can we call him TB8
5.
or TB? Can we call him TB5 from now on?
TP5.
That would have been cool if he was 12 though. 'Cause he's all right.
So
We'll call him Tom Brady Black. Like
so
Kodak
is
Black.
this a
Oh, yeah,
poor
yeah, yeah.
decision by Sean Payton when you're
Who are they playing?
They're playing the
Arizona.
Cardinals.
Yes.
You're playing the
yes,
Cardinals
yes.
at home. You haven't lost with Teddy Bridgewater, and you're gonna bring Drew Brees back when your bye week's next week.
I can't say it's bad unless if he's healthy and ready to go.
I would say I don't agree with it because here's the thing. He could be healthy, ready to go, but he's still so soon removed
He's
from
still-
that surgery.
he's still
And
5
he- at
weeks
his-
out of
And at his age,
thumb
he's not
surgery.
I
healing
know,
like when he was
but
20.
he's either ready to go or he's not.
But what does him being ready to go have to do with the fact that you are going to beat the Cardinals?
Perfect example. Hold on. Perfect
You
example.
don't
should-
need
you-
Drew Brees to beat the
Perfect
Cardinals.
example.
But
Jared,
you wouldn't say that if he never got hurt. You
When-
wouldn't say it's Arizona this week. He's
when-
going to sit out.
when
You
Jared,
know what I mean?
When
Yeah,
Jared
of
played
course.
So
when,
it's
when Jared played high school basketball, he tore the ligaments in his ankle. He then came back the next season, was ready to go, tore it in the same game, first game back, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
But-
the shit you lead.
but that's playing the result and avoiding the realities of it.
And that's all
he can
well
get
and
hurt.
good.
He can get hurt.
Here's the
Sure,
thing.
but
I
do
just
you
think
lose
Sean
anything
Payton,
by sitting him one
No,
more week?
that's the thing. So, like, what's 2 more weeks of rest for a guy who's almost 40 years old and just had a throwing hand surgery? That's all.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Against a bum team.
I would have waited to add extra, no doubt that he's ready to
And
go.
I'm not disagreeing with you in the sense that I'm just saying if he's truly 100%
Yeah.
ready to go.
And
If he's
allow
not,
him
then
also
certainly
too,
not.
I'll also allow him to get his normal practice reps in too.
If it was a stronger part of the body, I'd probably be like, cool. But because it's the thumb, dude, he couldn't hold a ball.
Yeah.
So, and
He was
and,
throwing with a small ball for a while.
and
As
he's
long,
also-
as long as Troy Aikman's not doing this game.
And
If he was, I want him out.
And with
So we
him
have to
being
do that.
short, with him being 6 feet tall, guys coming in his face putting their hand up, he's punching dudes in the hand a lot.
Yeah.
That's why I would just give it the 2 weeks, man. I'd give it, dude. You crushed it, Sean Payton. You are coach of the year in my eyes right now, and you're not going to
Because-
lose it. I would just roll with
My
it, man.
thing is, if you bring him back and he does get injured this week, now you're screwed because Teddy Bridgewater is going to get it done for you in the regular season, but he's not going to get it
Yeah,
done.
but he
in the
can get
playoffs.
injured at any time. I mean, we
Yeah,
can't
no,
then say
you're
it's
right.
tied to that injury.
you're right.
Like, that's
Absolutely.
what
But-
happens.
but- Absolutely.
But re-injury is more of a risk than an injury.
If there's any kind of question as to the injury, then I
And
100%
also,
he sits out.
you have
But
to think in terms of re-injury to other parts of the body. While he was out, he wasn't practicing and working out the way he was because he physically couldn't. So he is now liable to pull a hammy, do something else stupid, like we had Des Bryant coming on the field and shredding his Achilles.
That's
And
what I'm saying. 100%.
Yeah, but I don't
100%
think-
NFL
I don't think
standards
sitting
are
out
up.
2 weeks is going to make a difference in that
No, I
aspect.
don't either.
But
I don't know, man.
I do think it's a rush back. But let's get through our picks for the week because we got to wrap things up here. A little over past 12 o'clock here, and I got to get to.
Listen, Meme's waited
Hi.
107 years. She
Yeah.
can wait 20 minutes.
So I think a couple of you forgot to make your picks for.
I did it
you
again
did.
2 weeks in a row,
I think
dude.
I picked.
Yeah.
And I was
picked
the one
Vikes.
talking crap
Good.
to you guys, saying, "Hey, don't forget your picks."
I'm gonna come back if you keep forgetting
Vikes.
Thursday night.
Dude, you're like 15
Did you forget
games
yours?
back.
Did you forget
I'll
yours?
still win.
No, I got mine.
I'm coming back.
And I
I'm gonna
won
come-
it.
I'm gonna come back.
Vikes over Skins.
Yeah, I would've won it
on
too.
Thursday
Yeah, I
night.
picked the Vikings.
I did too.
That's
all
the thing.
did.
I would have won it too. It's just
Game.
annoying.
All right, so we got in the 1 o'clock slate. We get the Seahawks at the Matt Ryan-less Falcons. Matt Schaub. Matt Schaub. I didn't even know this guy still played football.
Dude, I'm literally third
gonna stop
because
today.
I've missed 2 picks. That's goddamn.
Well, that's the breaks.
It is.
I got the Seahawks. Easy win here.
Seahawks all day.
Seahawks.
Broncos at Colts. I mean,
Hey, hold on. What's the over on Schaub throwing a pick 6?
oh, guaranteed 2.
I'm pretty sure he's still got like a. I don't think. I think his last pass was a pick 6.
You
and
know
he's got
what?
Like 8 in a row.
You know what? You know
Every
what?
game.
I mean, I don't really buy into the Colin Kaepernick stuff, but if Matt Schaub can have a job, Colin Kaepernick can have a job.
Nah, I still disagree with you.
I disagree too.
Matt
He-
Schaub has forgotten more about football than Colin Kaepernick will ever learn. That's the thing people don't realize about football and quarterbacks.
The thing with Colin Kaepernick is he either has to be a top 15 quarterback or he won't be on a team. People keep saying he's better. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You
okay.
put no thought into it.
Schaub will still read a defense better and still understand what's happening better, even if his body can't give.
But we
you what
already
it
know
needs to give you.
Kaepernick's better than a lot of the backups.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's all well and
But
good,
that's
yeah.
not the issue.
Broncos at Colts. Gotta go with the Colts.
Colts.
I like the Colts.
Are winning amongst
The
all
Colts.
odds.
Good team. I like the Colts.
Bucks at Titans. Another game I can never pick.
I love this game.
I never picked
and
this game.
Yeah.
I picked the Bucks.
I picked the Bucks too.
I took the Titans.
I absolutely love the Titans in this game.
Really?
I'm switching my pick.
Because
Whatever Mike loves, I'm picking against because he's like last in the ranks.
okay, but if we but if we did one game a week, an eliminator,
yeah,
you would see.
you're gonna see how sweet it is.
These receivers have responded really well to the switch from Mariota to Tannehill, and he will play well for 4 or 5
True.
weeks, and
You're
his
right.
team's going to get hot.
You're
and
right.
they're going to beat the Bucks today.
Cardinals at Saints with Drew Brees back.
Saints.
I got the Saints,
Saints.
absolutely. I got the Saints either way. whether
Saints,
Drew
so
Brees-
do I. Yeah,
Cardinals
Saints.
on a 3-game winning streak.
The Bengals at the Rams. The Bengals are not getting a win this
This
week.
game's in London. Just
Yeah,
for
it
fans.
doesn't even matter
No,
where
it doesn't.
they're
But I'm
at.
just saying it's not at the Rams.
The Rams.
Rams.
Eagles at Bills. I took
Eagles.
the Bills to keep rolling.
Eagles.
I took the Bills
I want
to
the
keep
Eagles
rolling.
to win, but I'm picking the Bills.
I know too much about the Eagles now after Skandrick had that interview, man.
We're boys with the Eagles now after
Yeah.
that.
Nah,
I,
I'll never be boys with the Eagles.
I took the Bills. I think the Bills are going to beat them.
Lone
up
Wolf,
there.
baby. I'll take it.
Chargers at the
Oh.
Bears.
I actually got a
God.
good record against
This
you guys
is
for my Lone
this
Wolf.
is a disappointment.
This
bowl.
is like suck versus suck. I don't
it's
know
just
who to pick here.
disappointment. It's
Hey,
very
how was that Trubisky MVP coming, guys?
Yeah, me and Mike are looking real.
I didn't pick him for
dumb for
MVP.
those.
You
I
just
picked him
said-
for MVP. We both picked him for the Super Bowl.
They're not out of it in any way, shape, or form. Are
I
they
think
out
the
of it?
biggest
As long
issue
as
is you picked
Trubisky-
Trubisky to be
they're
a
not-
good quarterback.
As
and
long
they're
as
not out of it.
Trubisky's
Bad.
still a quarterback, I think they're out of it.
No, they're not out of it yet.
But I got Bears.
Who did
I'm
I
taking the
pick?
Bears.
I got Bears because as much as Phillip Rivers has done well in his career, I've realized now he's been one of the main factors holding this team back, and that defense will exploit his shit arm.
Very simply, West Coast team traveling east. I will do this every time. I'm
Khalil
taking the
Mack
Bears.
will feast on him.
Yeah, we'll feast upon him.
I believe I took the Bears, but I'm not sure. Let's move on to the next one. Giants. I am opening it up. Giants. Yeah, I took the Bears. Giants at Lions.
Lions.
I like the Lions.
I like the Lions too.
Patricia looks like he just did a line of coke and he's finally got it together, dude.
The Lions have been a good team this year.
I think so.
All right. Jets at Jags. I took the
Jaguars.
Jags.
I took the Jaguars.
Jags, yeah, absolutely.
Panthers at 49ers.
Hard one for me.
I took
This
the
was a good-
Panthers. I'm sorry. I took the 49ers to maintain their undefeatedness, but I could really see the Panthers beating them.
yeah,
Yes.
I can too.
I have the Niners winning this in a close one, and Kyle Allen will keep his job.
Yeah, if Kyle Allen wins this week and knocks off the undefeated 49ers, Cam Newton is either not going to be a Panther or he's going to be a backup.
At the end of the day, even if Kyle Allen loses this game but loses gracefully, he still doesn't lose his job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
East Coast team traveling west again. I like the 49ers. I think they're going to beat them.
Raiders at Texans.
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 Are so up and down, but I had to take the Texans.
Texans.
Browns at Pats. I think the Pats are going
Pats.
to win,
Patriots.
win big here.
Patriots. I do too.
Yeah, I think
even
they're
though
gonna
they're
win
coming
big.
off a bye, the Patriots too much.
I
for
just
them.
don't understand why teams continue to call out the Patriots. Why do you continue to do it?
Bravado.
What I don't understand is calling out at all. Just play football.
Just play
Yeah.
football.
I never did that. Just
And
play
I mean,
football, bro.
Jarvis Landry did it in the least, what's the word I'm looking for here? The least
Controversial?
controversial way. He said
Abrasive.
he said we're gonna go to New England, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, how do you feel like you're gonna be?" He's like, "We're gonna win. Like we're coming off a good week of practice."
But who doesn't think
But
that?
yeah, he's not gonna say we're gonna lose,
I know,
right?
it's another thing.
So I mean, they're baiting him, but just say no comment.
No, he likes
Just
that
say
bait.
no comment. I just don't understand why these
Or
people
just say,
feel
I
like,
hope we go out there, put our best game forward, and hopefully we get the W.
yeah, exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Mike knows how to do it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know to cliche this shit.
Packers at Chiefs.
Packers. Oh, and
I
let's,
went with the Packers.
And I also want to talk about everyone was saying
Packers.
the Packers sucked and us losing to them. was
No
this,
Pat
that, and
Mahomes.
The Packers are nasty, dude.
No
the Packers
Pat
are
Mahomes.
killing it.
Pat Mahomes was rumored to be playing, but I think they ruled him out.
And this is a good holdout. I mean, and actually, no, let me rephrase. It's a hard holdout,
You got to hold
but
on.
you have to.
You have to.
You have to because you can't lose much more games as the Chiefs, so you're not getting that home
I think
field.
this
Yeah.
is going to be a good game. I have just a funny hunch the Chiefs are going to win this game.
Matt Moore is going to get destroyed.
And in
Matt Moore will do Matt Moore things. He's a gunslinger.
Poor NBC when they had this schedule all lined up.
It's still a good game. I'm looking forward to this. Is my
Mahomes
high-
versus Rodgers.
yeah.
that
And
would have been killer.
and in the toilet bowl on Monday night, Dolphins versus Steelers.
So, hey, fun fact that I came across yesterday. The Dolphins have been on Monday Night Football more than any team in the NFL.
Really?
By a landslide. It's 85 times.
Really?
And this will be 85. And the Cowboys are second at 80.
Yeah, I knew the Cowboys were high up there.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I knew
Wow.
they would be in the top 5, but I didn't.
you probably don't like that.
That's
Well, it's
so
'cause all-
weird.
I like it.
Oh, you do like
Right
it.
when
Why
Monday
not?
Night Football
'Cause I hate
started,
waiting.
they were a success.
Right.
Yeah.
Along with
70s,
Dallas in
80s,
the
90s.
70s.
All the way
Which is kind of strange though, because recently the Dolphins haven't been good for a while. So it's like
No.
it's surprising that they're still up there.
Number
Maybe it's a
one.
contractual thing.
No, it's not to do with it. It's based on a season. Like, this is our
No.
only night game.
No,
of the
these
season.
games are handpicked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think the Steelers win, but I don't think this is going to be a blowout.
Steelers.
Yeah, I took the Steelers at home.
Yeah, they should win.
yeah. Well, we got to wrap it up for the day. We're off to Meme's birthday party.
Shout out,
100
Meme.
107 years
Happy
old.
birthday, man.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
We will see all of you next week, same time, same place. As always, check out our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and download our stuff and share it away. Peace.
Enjoy the games.
On behalf of all of us here at Two Dudes and a Mic, we would like to thank you for watching or listening to our show. This show is brought to you by our sponsor, The Best Ever. Visit www.thebestever.com for all your apparel needs. All of the video from our previous episodes is available anytime on YouTube if you subscribe to our channel, Two Dudes and a Mic. Our show audio is also available on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. Be sure to check out our page on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Cover3 Radio. We thank you for your continued support.
Yeah, we talked about show goals and where we want to take the show, and I think we all agreed that if we want to take it outside of this bedroom, we can't. He can't talk like that, you know. It's not that like we can't. We were telling him not that we can say controversial things. We want to talk about controversial things. Talk about have some tact. We can talk about it. Yeah, have some tact. Don't say he's a fucking cunt. His wife's a fucking pussy. You know, she's a punch.
That's why I don't like when he says Abe Lincoln. He's not a racist. He says that guy's doesn't add anything. He might know.